Hello everybody, welcome back to another Python video and the third video in our series on image processing. So to start off this video, I have from PIL image imported, I have NumPy imported, and I have our image that we've been working with as well as its corresponding NumPy array version. So as a reminder, here's the picture of our image. And as the title of this video suggests, we want to focus on how can we set colors in this image. So maybe the first goal is I want to take a horizontal band from this image and set it all to one color. So first, let's select the band of the image. So I'm going to say, how about image.fromArray? I want to take ARR, and let's say I start at row 200, go up to but don't include row 300, and if I don't pass anything else, it'll include all the columns automatically. So it corresponds to this portion of the image, and now my goal is to change this to be, let's start with black, then we'll change it to white, and then a different color. So one thing I might try to do is I could say, okay, well I have ARR 200 to 300. Let's say I set this equal to 0 for black. This is going to return an error. So what's happening here is it's saying assignment destination is read only. So basically what's happening is I can look at this image, I can kind of look at the array, but I actually can't change any values. So the way we're going to get around this is by making a copy of this array, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why this works. So I'm going to say b equals ARR dot copy. Oops. So that's all set. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to import another library that comes with Python, so you don't need to install it. I'm going to import SYS, that stands for system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the size of a bunch of objects that we have here. So remember, first thing is we have our image. Now you might think that this image takes up a lot of space. And yeah, like it's a pretty big image, lots of things going on here. But surprisingly, NumPy and PIL are very good at not taking up a lot of space for this image and array. And to see that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sys.getSizeOf, and let's start with image. This is going to return the size in bytes. So 48 bytes, that's very, very small. Similarly, I can say sys.getSizeOf ARR, 144 bytes, so larger than 48, but definitely not that much, still very small. Now remember, B was our copy of the array. Let's check the size of this. And we can notice here, this is much, much larger than image and ARR. So what's going on here is when we kind of defined image and ARR is they don't actually store the image or anything with the image. They basically reference, they kind of point to where the image is in memory. If we actually want to edit the image, we have to make a copy of it and then do our edits. So what's happening here is B is actually kind of getting all of the parts of the picture that we're going to be able to change. So kind of take away image and ARR. These are references to the image, whereas B actually stores the parts of the image that we can change. So let's go back to our original goal. So remember, we wanted to change that horizontal band of the image. So I'm going to say take B, and remember we were using indices, what did I say, 200 to 300? Let's set this equal to 0. And now what I can do is say image.fromArray of B. And if we look here, remember the corresponding band, this portion, it got changed entirely to black. So 0, and so remember this is an example of broadcasting, right? Because we're taking 0 and we're kind of sending it to R, G, and B. So red, green, and blue are all set to 0. If I wanted white, I want to, instead of 0, say 255. So what I can do instead, so let's say I wanted to change this band to white, I could say B of, let's go 200 to 300 equals 255, and then image.fromArray of B. And now we can see that it's all white, so it looks like it's even been split into two images. It hasn't, it's just we've changed this band to white, and also Jupyter Notebook background is white. Maybe last thing I want to show you, so what if we wanted to change it to a color where the R, G, and B values are all different? So one thing that we could do, if you remember back to our previous video, we checked, well, what's kind of the top leftmost color. So this is where we found it. We can see it's this 83, 161, 148. So I'm going to copy paste this color, and I can say here, so let's see, maybe one thing I'm going to do first, so just to kind of emphasize what we're talking about, if I do B of 200 to 300 dot shape, so notice this is 100 by 480 by 3, and then if I set the colors equal to np.array of the values that we found above, and then I say, well, what's colors.shape? So notice here, this is 3. So the way broadcasting work is this 3 is lined up with this 3, and then we're able to broadcast. So what would be the resulting dimensions? It'll be 100 by 480 by 3 still. So if you have any questions about broadcasting, be sure to check out the videos we have on the topic. Otherwise, let's say B of, 200 to 300 equals colors, and we can say image dot from array B, and you can see here we changed it to be that top leftmost color. So thanks for watching. I think this is a good place to end the video. In the next video, we'll be talking about how could I actually make an image from scratch. So instead of starting with this picture like we did in the previous couple of videos, we're going to define an image entirely from scratch. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.